Bienvenue sur le podcast de l'Espérissal. Welcome to the Dirty Mind podcast. That was Canadian words that you just heard. I know it was confusing at first, but you'll get used to it. I'm very well versed in other words and cultures. Speaking of other cultures, today we're going to be talking about a video game. I don't know what the connection is to cultures, but I'm excited about it. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to have some laughs and some cries and some good times. Maybe we'll play some mind games, 20 questions, some Dutch Blitz. That's the best card game there ever was. Fight me. But first, before we get into any of that nonsense, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Old News.
I got nothing new for you.
Today's old news is the PS2 Slim version is coming out. Get ready. I know that one of the issues, the conflicts, the problems in the first iteration of the PlayStation 2 was that it was a little bit chunky. It was a little bit on the chunky side. And well, guess what? That's being fixed. The PS2 Slim version is going to be exactly that. It's going to be a little slimmer, okay? It's not going to be eating as many fats and drinking as much soda. So it's going to be a good amount smaller, a good amount lighter. It's not going to be quite as heavy. There's so many things different about it. You're still going to be able to play all your favorite PlayStation 2 games, probably. And it's going to come in the black version and also the silver version, I think. That's unconfirmed. I think that's what I saw. I didn't look too deeply into the article about it. But yeah, that's something to look forward to if you like your PlayStation games and you're enjoying your PS2, or if you haven't gotten a PS2, this is probably the one that you want to get. Don't go for the big old monster that's just going to be sitting on top of your tube TV and it's just going to crush it from the top and squish it so that your TV goes from a 4:3 ratio to a 16:9-ish ratio. That would be ridiculous. That's never going to catch on. So the PS2 Slim, be on the lookout for it. All you shadies out there, it's going to rock your world, maybe. Who knows? There's very little evidence to point in one direction or another. That's a good name for a band. Anyhow, get yours soon. It's not out yet, but it will be, and it's going to exist. Welcome back. Today we're talking about HellDivers 2. Now, I never played the first one, but this game has rocked my world. I guess that's the phrase of the day. This game, I feel like we've needed it for a long time. It's sort of the spiritual successor to Lethal Company. Now, bear with me here, all right? Just hang on for a second. Okay, it's going to make sense. So, we have for a long time in the community of gamers been just flooded with all of these games that are all against each other. Battle Royale games, normal multiplayer games where it's deathmatch, and even team deathmatch, but it seems like teamwork has sort of gone out the window with a lot of these. But Lethal Company was a big one that brought back this idea that, hey, if you're playing online games with other players, maybe you don't have to fight each other to the death. I don't know. There's other options here. You could actually work together toward a common cause of satisfying an insatiable giant alien worm. There's a lot of different things that you can do with your time and your talents. So this new game, Spellrimers 2, it's really interesting because what you're doing is you're collecting just a small group. It's just 4 players at a time until they come out with a mod where you can do 68. And you're just jumping down to a little planet and you're, exterminating species and you're wiping out artificial intelligence and you're blowing up homes and you're taking children away from their families, and you're moving hard drives from one area to another area, and you're blowing up radio towers and disrupting communications between distant family members. All of these things are just, they're so wonderful. And we needed that in our lives. We needed to be able to have this common goal and say, all right, you over there, you may not be super amazing with accuracy, but you can certainly help us by providing supplies. And you over there, you're pretty good with your accuracy, but you're not so great with repetition. So maybe you can just have an anti-tank rifle that only has one little missile, and then you can just be done for the day. There's so many great things that you can do as a team. And I've got this whole list of things in my brain somewhere of why we needed this game. And I'm just going to run through it real quick. So I've already talked about there's so many different games where you're fighting each other, and we don't need more gladiator matches in this real world of ours. What we need is more team building activities, little icebreakers where someone says, all right, tell me an interesting thing about you. And then someone says, well, when I was 11, my uncle said he was going to pick me up from school, and he never did because he got hit by a car. And then everyone goes real silent, and they just sort of skip over that icebreaker and then just get right into the presentation, and no one looks at you for the rest of the day. Those are the types of situations that we, those are the situations where it's. So High-Fivers 2, it's a pretty cool game because there's so many little things that they do right that pull you in and keep you going for a long time. And what I enjoy is the communal aspect where you have, you got your own little ship, and that's cool. But you can go to other friends' ships and you can see what theirs looks like because they got the upgrades, and everybody's got the different armor and stuff. And as you go, you level up and you got new stuff. And you can also just go to the little superstore, USA, and purchase little things and say, hey, I want to look orange today, or I want to look gray and yellow today, or over here, I want to look like I'm made of money and I've got all this gold on that Dirt hasn't unlocked yet because it takes forever to get medals, and then I have to spend like an extra 120 medals before I can unlock the other things, before I can spend medals on the things that I want. So I have to spend my medals on things that I don't want in order to get to things that I do want. But it's such an enjoyable process because there's so many things that you find out about yourself along the way. And this includes different aspects of walking, running, diving, definitely diving, sliding, diving again, walking around, shooting things. Yeah, shooting things. There's a lot of shooting things, pulling triggers, calling in things that fall from the sky. It's great because it's an experience where when you're leveling up, at least in my opinion, it does not feel like a grind. There is no grinding in this game. It's outlawed. Don't be grinding at the school dance. It's not allowed. It seems like everything in the game is an enjoyable experience. Even unlocking new things, it's crazy. You move the mouse if you're on PC. You move the mouse and you click and hold a thing, and then the bar slides over, and it's like, cha-ching, you did it. And I feel like that's like, it's an accomplishment, because it's one thing if you just pressed a button. That's not anything special, but I had to apply pressure. I had to put some actual weight on the left mouse button and hold that button. I held my ground just like I held that button, and then it slid over and said, "You did it, Dirt. You're the best. You know exactly what you're doing in this world, and there's no question at all about your integrity and your value as a pig in this society." And it said it word for word. Those were the experiences that went through my eyes, ears, and brain, and no one can take that away from me. And then finding a map, like location, it's great because you got this huge war map, and it feels like it's a big battle that everyone in the world is a part of. And I feel like I don't see that very much. A game where it seems like everybody who's involved is actually working towards something, and you can see it. It's quantifiable, okay? It's verifiable, okay? It's empirical. You see the evidence. You see when the numbers go up. Now, granted, it's usually after one mission, it goes up by 0.0001%, but even still, you know that you made a difference, and you can see it in the little values of how much the planet has been liberated. By the way, I love that they use the word liberated, because it just makes you feel like good things are happening when you're going onto a planet and destroying the natives, just like really taking root and ripping out said root and saying, no, 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 no. You're not allowed to be here anymore, even though you've been here for probably thousands of years. Like, that makes you feel real good. It makes you feel real good inside. It does. There's no reason why you would look at yourself in the mirror and have a 1,000-yard stare, trying to feel like you're not seeing the same soldier that you used to see, because you've seen some things and you've done some things that really make you think that you're not the same anymore, and you're never going to be the same again, and you're never going to know how to laugh again or smile, because it doesn't seem like that's something you can physically bring yourself to do anymore. Those are the kinds of experiences that you want in a military shooter, right? That's what we all need and deserve. Other things that I enjoy about it is just this simple act of jumping in the pod. I love the way the boots click in. It's got this real nice tactile feel, even though you're not actually feeling it unless it's in, like if you built one in real life and you do that every time you go into the pods to dive on down to the planet's surface. I doubt it, but who am I to say that no one has done that or does that all the time? But that, and also the actual shots of shooting the pods, like, yeah, technically it's a little like cinematic loading screen situation, but it doesn't feel like a loading screen. I love that. I love that it doesn't feel like a loading screen at all. You're just watching this natural required process of, okay, we found this location. We're going around this 3D globe, and we pick this one, and then we all jump into our little, we put on our jammies, and then we dive into our oversized metal sleeping bags, and then we get launched into the atmosphere until we inevitably dig into the ground and arise from the dirt. And that's what it's all about, people. That's the way to go. That's what we want. We want to be sent to another planet where we don't belong, so that we can embed ourselves into that planet's surface and then eradicate everything we see. That's what we need. So, in addition to those things, when we got the stratagems and we're walking around and we're just saying hip hip cheerio to everything that we see, there's so many beautiful elements of balance within those stratagems. So what I like is when you have something where it's red for bad, for run away. If it's red, it's bad, run away. You throw it and you're like, okay, Steven over there is pretty darn close to my Eagle airstrike. I can choose to tell him about it because he's facing away and obviously didn't see it, or I could just let it happen. Then nature will take its course, and I could just call it back in. But the thing that I like, the little detail I like, is by default your audio choice is set to random because every time you're called in, you're not the same soldier, you're a different soldier. If you died on that mission, you died. You're done for, okay? You're a new soldier. You're not the same one who entered at the beginning. You're different. Not just because you're different on the inside, because of all the grape soda that you drank and now your tongue is purple, but you're different on the outside as well because your DNA strains are completely different. And also you have 4 fingers for some reason. There's all these little details like that remind you that we're all cogs in a machine, and that's okay. You know, the machines of war is what keeps the world turning. We all need the war. If it wasn't for war, what would we have going on? Like, what would there be? What would the purpose be to mail service, for instance? Every time I receive a package in the mail, it's something preparing me for war. For instance, I ordered a very small pocket knife for the off chance purpose of using that for survival. I can use this very small pocket knife because it's got a can opener on it. I can use it in a last-ditch scenario where I need to open a can to save my or someone else's life. Boom. See? Point, set, match, point made. I got nothing else to say on that topic. I win. What else about this game, HellDivers 2? It's pretty neat because in this game, you get extracted, sure, at the end, but you don't need to. You know, you can spend the rest of your days on that planet if you want. You can just kick back and read a book and throw a volleyball hitherto and hither fro. And that's fine. You know, you do you. You just stay on the planet and live it up. But if you do come back, you are much more highly well rewarded for it. And little things like that, once again, it makes everything seem valuable. Like, if you went to a planet and you did your job, then that's one bonus. But there's other things you can do. You can go to the optional objectives and you can say, ooh, I like the look of that. I'm going to run over there and I'm just going to destroy this tower that is broadcasting dangerous messages saying that my team is not the goodest team, the most of goodest teams of all time. And I'm just going to ignite that. I'm going to set it ablaze. And then no one will be able to hear it and hear the lies and the rumors that are being spread, like that our lead general has never actually taken a bath or shower before. And what he does is he uses a very small dollop of hand sanitizer and just pats it on his shoulder, just a little pat on the shoulder, and then a little bit on the underside of the knee, and he calls it a day. Like, that's not verified. There's no reason to believe any type of malarkey like that. No one even knows for sure. No one's seen that happen. No one has even heard that. I haven't even heard that. No one has said that. No one has heard that. No one knows that those are words that go in that order ever. So just drop it, you know. He may or may not have a teddy bear. That's not what we're talking about. And if he does have a teddy bear, it's definitely not a bear, and it's definitely not a rabbit either. I don't know why we're talking about any stuffed animals in this situation. We're talking about war, okay? We're talking about Starburst. We're not talking about Starburst, and we're not talking about candy. We need to move past these things Because he doesn't eat only candy. No one can survive on only candy. So obviously, our top general doesn't eat only candy, okay? And maybe some folk have only ever seen him eat a nerd's rope. That doesn't mean anything, though, because what would that do? And listen, sometimes you want a little bit of a snack, and that's fine. You want a little bit of a snack, and you're going into battle, and you got a little bag of Fig Newtons, and you're stuffing your face, and that's fine. No one's gonna call the police on you. No one's gonna call CPS or whatever, because you're a little baby. You're a little baby. That's what you are. You're a little baby. That's all you are. You're just a little baby. You're a little baby. Call CPS on a little baby. That's all. You're just a little baby. And no one's going to worry about that. No one's going to say, hey, stop eating those Tim Tams. And so we got this general who may or may not consume a ton of candy, and it doesn't even affect anyone. It affects blood sugar levels, and that's about it. So maybe everyone else can butt out and mind their own doo-doos, okay? And move on with their life. So we're gonna go to our sponsor, and I'm really looking forward to this sponsor because they have a really interesting product and service that I think you're going to enjoy. Have you ever been in a public bathroom and someone knocks on the door and you just have no idea what to say to that person or object on the other side of the door? Well, I've been in that situation, and I was tired of not being able to know what to say. Do you say, occupied, or occupado, or please don't come in, I'm fully naked? There's a lot of things that you can say, but in that instance of immediate social stress, it's so difficult to know what to say in any situation. That's why I invented the Bathroom Buddy application. The Bathroom Buddy app is an app that you can have on your phone or on the largest version of the iPad only. And you can just open it up whenever you're in the bathroom, and it has a ginormous button. Literally, almost the entire app is just this one button, so you can't miss it. You press the button, and it yells out randomly generated repelling phrases to ward off people's trying to enter your stall. Okay? If someone's knocking on the door, if you're lucky enough to have the whole bathroom to yourself and you got a giant door, that's always nice, right? However, there's nothing blocking you from being seen if someone opens that door, so that door better be locked. And if you're in a stall, it's the same thing. I mean, they can see your ankles and whatnot, and that's embarrassing. But maybe they don't. Maybe they're not observant and they don't know how to look underneath that little tiny door and see that there's someone in there. That's why you got the Bathroom Buddy app. It yells out a lot of different phrases. Seriously, we had a voice actor record like 94 different versions of what to say. And they all apply to every situation. So you can press it randomly and it'll say, hey, I'm dropping depth charges in here, maybe stand back. Or it'll say something like, get out of here before I find your cat, and put the cat into a bag, and put the bag into a smaller bag, and put the small bag into my backpack, and I hold on to the cat while I travel along the Appalachian Trail. There's a lot of different phrases that the app will say, and some of them are more effective than others, but it's nice to have that variety, you know? It's nice to have options in life. It's nice to have options in life. It's nice to have options in life. So that's why I invented the Bathroom Buddy app, and I hope that you use the Bathroom Buddy app to repel nasty individuals who are trying to nose in on your private bathroom time. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. I've had enough. Use this app. It's not free. It's very expensive. Use the app. and you will enjoy it, and it will be so useful, I guarantee it. It's not a law-abiding guarantee, but goodness golly, please download this app. Thank you. Welcome back. Goodness gracious, I can't wait to download that app. So we're talking about video games, and to take a tiny break from HellDivers 2, I've been playing a lot of the finals, and the thing that gets me about that game is the odds of victory. So in the finals, the craziest percentage, I guess, of or ratio of your odds of victory are when you do a tournament. And when you're doing a tournament, it's like two separate matches of 1v4 or 1v3. So it's like 4 teams and then 4 teams. And then those 4 teams go down to 3 teams and 3 and then 4 and then 2. So it dwindles down. So your odds of winning a tournament are kind of low. It's like a 1 in 16 or 12 or 10 or 8. 8. I think it's 8. But even still, that's pretty good odds when you look at a battle royale where your odds of winning is 1 in 60. And obviously, if you're much goodlier at the game, then your odds will be better. I guess that's something that makes sense if you use logic like a nerd. Hee hee hoo, hee hee ha ha, ho. But in another game mode, you've got cash out. No, it's quick cash and bank it. I feel like the names should be flipped, but that's just me. I'm just like one of those hipsters who thinks that all the titles of the Star Wars movies should be rotated, but actually, those really do make sense. I would look that up if you haven't. The rearranged titles for all the Star Wars, like just the 6 movies make sense, and even the 9 movies, all 9 movies, those make sense too. Even those 3 Disney, I guess, fan films, I'll call them. I don't know if I consider them to be holy canon or not. Just like Nicholas Cannon. He loves his Star Wars. I tell you what, I've seen his slippers. He always has Chewbacca slippers. He's a fun cat. Anywho, in the finals, when you're playing Bank It, you have 4 teams. And if you're playing Quick Cash, you have 3 teams. And that is it. So your chances are 1 in 4 or 1 in 3. I feel like I talk about this all the time. But when you have victory so close to you, and there's 3 members on your team, and so there's only however many players that adds up to, I'll let you do that math because I've already done way too much today as it is, then it seems like, to me at least, I'm much more motivated to try to win when I know it's much more possible. But at the same time, if you're playing Apex Legends, which I haven't played in a while because I found myself enraged on a daily basis, and I was not as happy overall as a pig. And same with if I was playing, well, I guess I never played that much Fortnite, but any type of battle royale game or free-for-all type, just crazy, like throw them into the lion's pit and just let it go. Let the chips fall where they may, the chocolate chips. Those types of games, they usually irritate me at a certain point. It takes a bit to get under my skin overall, but every now and then when I'm playing a game like that, like if I'm playing Apex Legends and I don't have amazing teammates, well, I'm rarely an amazing teammate, but if I have teammates like myself, it sometimes feels like someone has a pitchfork and they're just gently, real gently sliding it into my thigh, and then they remove it, and then they put it into my lower back. And then after a while, someone gets a yardstick and taps me on the head, and then continues, and then continues, and then continues at a rate of around 130 beats per minute, and then it increases, and then it increases, and it changes like a Ludwig Göransson song, like, can you hear the music from Oppenheimer? The tempo keeps changing, and then it's like someone's taking a raw salmon and slapping me across the neck with it. So yeah, it's a little irritating playing some of those games sometimes when I lose so much. But even if I'm not losing, it can still be real frustrating. That's the thing that gets me probably about all games, is even if I win, it doesn't guarantee that I have fun. So when I have a game where I do have fun, even if I lose, that's what I'm interested in. That's why I like Heck Drover's Dose. That one. It's so difficult to remember the name. That's what I like about it, is because we could fail the mission completely. We could do 0 objectives. We could not get rid of any nests. We could not get rid of any of the super big robots or nothing. And it's still an enjoying experience. Just the gameplay is so fluid and fun, and you know what you're getting into. And also, excuse me, I had an enchilada earlier. And you know what you're getting into, and it's nice to be able to fight not humans, just switching it up so you're not fighting humans. Because sometimes they just be tryhards that just go in way too crazy. And I'm over here like, maybe just relax, Maybe just relax for a little bit and don't go so hard. And also maybe lay off the Mountain Dew Baja Blast. I'm one to talk about that, right? I tell you, the color of Baja Blast is just so pretty. It's just one of the nicest look. It's the Caribbean. They took the Caribbean and put it into a sody pop, and it's just gorgeous. If I was never allowed to drink it ever again in my lifetime, I would still get it here and there just to look at it. It's such a gorgeous color. It's one of my favorite colors. I love the combination of blue and green. I think somewhere in there, that's where life is. That's where life exists. No, what's interesting is, while we're on the topic of color, so Flower, my beloved, she can see more colors than I can. It's super weird. I don't know if that's a penguin thing or what, but sorry, I also had a fajita earlier. So Flower, we found out, can see more colors than I can. And that's crazy, but like we're doing one of those things, and we've tested this a few different times in a few different ways. She was looking at one of those things online where you're like, all right, it looks like from a distance, it's only one shade of red, but if you look closer, you'll see little dividing lines, and you'll be like, oh, wait, that shade is a little bit different. Okay, so there's like 5. There's 5 different shades of red here. They're just really subtle. And then Flower looks at it, and she's like, there's 7. And I'm like, 7? There's only 5. There's this one, this one, this one, this one, those. There's those. There's 5. And she's like, no, there's definitely 7. There's this one, this one, this one, this one, that one, and these 2, And that's how it went. And it blew my mind. Because I thought I could see some pretty good colors. I thought I knew I know green. I know green. I know lime green. I know key lime green. I know colors, But apparently, she's got a little superpower that I didn't know about. And I don't know what kind of percentage of the populace of the planet is in on that, but it's pretty impressive. And it makes sense because she has to know how chemicals work to make colors, because she knows about colors, because she does a lot of printing. She does a lot of printing. Like she'll use my printer and she'll be like, "Hey, Dirt, can you print out this picture?" And it's just a screenshot of a receipt in black and white. So I rest my case. But anyway, there's so many different colors and variations of colors, and within I guess green is a secondary color, but within two main colors, primary and secondary, blue and green, there's this window of opportunity between those hues and also between the lightness and saturation level. I don't know about anybody else, but I personally, when I'm picking a color in Photoshop or wherever, I have to do it when it's on the HLS version, hue, lightness, saturation. I can't do it when it's in the RGB or any of that CMYK. I can't do it. I like the hex code, and I like hue, lightness, saturation. Other than that, forget about it. I'm not going to be able to find the color I want. If I have to adjust all these little dials of the amount of red I'm getting, the amount of green I'm getting, the amount of blue, is that the other one? Blue. Am I saying that right? Blau? Lu. Is the B silent? Lu. Louis. Louis. La. La. Lu. La. 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 Meow. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to find what I'm looking for if I have to use any of those other silly nonsense things. So it's crazy that there's certain ways that you can find colors and certain ways that are more intuitive than others. So yeah, I was playing the finals, and one thing happened that was pretty redonkulous. I won 4 games in a row. And that doesn't happen on a regular basis. It certainly does not. Winning one game is nice. And it doesn't, once again, like the point I made earlier, does not guarantee that you're going to enjoy the entire experience, but it's cool. It's cool to have that satisfying ending. Now, I've definitely had games where I'm like 4 eliminations, 11 deaths, and my team just swoops in and they pull a clutch move and we end up winning. And in those moments, if you could measure my satisfaction in that game, or my serotonin or dopamine, all of that business, it would not be sky high, but it would definitely be up there. It would be the highlight of the match, most likely. But if you have a game where I'm doing tremendous, I got 14 eliminations and 6 deaths, and I'm just going through. I feel like I'm made of butter. I'm just slipping and sliding. I'm a buttery soaked eel, and no one can catch me. Those are great, and even if I lose at the end, I still feel good about how I did. And I think it's hard to know exactly, but I feel like that level of happiness, if you could measure it, which I'm sure you can because of science, that level of happiness would be a little bit higher than where if I did win, but I didn't do very well, because it wouldn't feel like I really deserved it. But if I did really well and I thought we could have won, or the winning doesn't even matter because there's no crying in baseball, I don't know, there's some parallel there, then I don't know, it wouldn't have been that crazy. But a little happiness is a little good for little lives, little pigs, little happy little happies do a little happy dance. Do a happy dance. Do a little happy dance. Do a little happy dance. Do a little happy dance. We got to happy dance. Do a little happy dance. Happy dance. And then we do a little happy dance. I wish you could have seen the dance, because the dance was pretty good. That's what stinks about it being a podcast, is if I break out into song and dance, you only get the one level of, stuff from it. It was only the audio. You didn't see the dance, which was pretty darn impressive, if I do say so myself. But I know we talked about colors a little bit ago. We're going to go back to that whole color thing, because it's time for Lucky Color. Today's lucky color is, get this, buttery salmon. That's right, that's the real name of the color, buttery salmon. It's a really nice salmon-esque color. I like it. The hex code is FFB19A. FFB19A. It's real good. I would use it if I were you. If you had a reason to use a buttery salmon type color, I would use buttery salmon for that color. It just makes sense. It's great. I think it evokes feelings of peace, a little bit of hunger, or maybe food satisfaction, like you just ate a real good meal, like a lot of turkey, and everyone says, oh, you get so sleepy because of turkey. I think you get so sleepy because you just stuffed your face with like 5 pounds of food. Like you're gonna be a little sleepy after that. But yeah, buttery salmon. Keep an eye out for that color. If you see it, great. If you don't see it, just make it yourself. Use some acrylic paint. It might take a long time, but you can make that color. You can do anything. All right? You can do anything. Stop selling yourself short. Make it happen. Okay? Look out into the future and tell yourself this is going to be the future. And if it's not the future, then I'm not the past. Don't think about it. So, gentle reminder, freedom is not free. Sign up to be a bell driver today. All right? Thank you so much. Love you. Kisses. Ooh, look at all the frogs in the sky. Goodbye.